Hey legends, how you doing? Welcome back to another episode of FatChat by Majic. The episode today, I'm joined by Boomers player. He's over in the B League currently, former championship winning player with the Perth Wildcats, Nick K. He's been one of my long-term clients and friends for a very long time. He's an absolute legend. It's always such a good chat when I've got him on. He's the absolute epitome of being a professional athlete, all of his preparation, and also just the mindset around how he prepares for games, for upcoming seasons, improving himself. It's pretty second to none. So I know you're going to love this chat. And as part of this one as well, we've got a little giveaway with Nick. There's a code word that'll be hidden somewhere in the episode, so make sure you listen out to that one. And as always, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, follow, or share around the FatChat episodes that you've been liking. It really goes a long way into getting great guests like Nick on each and every week. Let's get into the episode of FatChat. Here we go. Welcome back to FatChat by Majic. Now, the guest I've got today, absolute primo guest. So someone that I've had on the podcast before. We do a little bit of training together, and I try to genuinely emulate his hard work, his dedication, and just everything of how he goes about his business and just life in general. I absolutely love him. He's sitting next to me right here. He's a championship winning player for the Perth Wildcats. He was part of the first medal to be won by any Boomers team last year or 2 years ago at the Tokyo Olympics. Absolutely massive. He's been playing professionally all around the world, in Spain, New Zealand, Japan. The list goes on. He's about to head over to Cairns and be part of the Boomers training camp ahead of the World Cup. Please welcome Nick K.
Appreciate you having us here, and it's always good having a chat with you. A bit of hype to start off the day, so get the confidence feeling good. But it's always good having a chat with you, and glad to be back.
So good, mate. Well, we've obviously been training together the last month or so now since you've been back. It's been good in the gym. We always link up for the off seasons whenever you're back.
Get a bit competitive with each other.
Big time.
Who can lift more and throw some more weight around. So.
Exactly right. Well, it's always whenever you come back, because you don't do that much gym work during the year. You do a little bit when you're playing,
just
but not
enough
too
to maintain.
Much. Exactly. But then when you first come back, I can always beat you for the first 2 weeks, which is the fucking best. And then after that, I can't catch you. There's no way.
Talk about that competitiveness. Those first couple of weeks really get the juices going when I'm getting whooped on everything. So
I can tell you hate that.
Yeah, I definitely throw some extra sessions in when you're not there and try and catch up as quick as I can, because I just love those workouts and always feel like we're getting better in that off season. Big
time. We're just throwing weight around. It's that much fun. But we've done a pod together about this time last year when you were in town, and we spoke about all of your career stuff, growing up in Tamworth, and just all the different teams that you played for. Just run us through really quick some of the places that you played, because you played all around the world. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. From the States with college to Townsville, Illawarra, Perth, Invercargill, Wellington, Seville, Spain, now Shimane, Japan. So a lot of different places, and that's just places I've played in the professional career, not including the Boomers, different windows in all the different countries and stuff too. Then you start touching on Chinese Taipei and all this, and been very fortunate. Get to travel the world, see a lot of places I wouldn't have seen otherwise.
It's amazing.
And, love it. It's so good.
And this is your third year in Japan now. Is this the longest you've been somewhere for a little while?
It actually is. Talking about that when we signed this deal, was normally only been at a place for a couple of years at a time, and you're always trying to push to get to that next spot. But we've really found a great place over there, and we're trying to make the most of it. And both Em and I are really happy there. So
it's amazing that basketball just takes you to all these different countries and places. Because football, there's one league. It's here. That's all you can go to another city, but everything's pretty much the same. But basketball, you can go all over the world. All the leagues are so different to play in. It's absolutely crazy. So I've had some questions that have been sent in. Who's the hardest player that you've had to play on in the B League?
In the B League, toughest
So the B League,
player.
for anybody just quickly that doesn't know, that's the Japanese professional league that you're playing in. Yep.
Yeah. One of the toughest guys we go up against, I'd say Hawkinson from over there.
Yeah. Who does he play for?
He plays for Shinshu, but he's moving to Shibuya this year. One of the reasons, because we don't do a whole lot of showing and stuff and ball screens over there. So put us in a coverage where you got to kind of help on the dribbler coming off a ball screen, and his ability to pick and pop, force switches, and then take advantage of switches and stuff. Makes it really tough to guard, and great shooter as well. So probably 6'9", 6'10". He's actually going to play for the Japanese national team at the World Cup, so
huge.
Everyone will probably get to see him play there, and I mean, it'll be a fun challenge.
There's been lots of guys that have been naturalized to Japan. That means that they've come on over as an import, and then they've been given citizenship, so then they no longer count as an import spot. So some teams have like 4 or 5 guys that are international.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy, huh?
It is. It's every team's fighting for one or two naturalized guys to kind of let them take their team to the next level. You have a guy like that. We're fortunate we got a guy, Nika Williams, who's was a big part of our team this year.
Great fella.
Great fella, yeah. Good energy, plays hard. Unfortunately got injured towards the end of the season, but we got him back again next year. So it kind of just allows you to mix up where you've got the imports, and it's essentially having another import out on the court as well. And it's definitely a huge advantage to have.
They didn't do that for Bryce Cotton here, seriously.
I know. I've been waiting. How long has it been now?
Haven't they
Give
done
the man
that?
his citizenship already.
Seriously. This is another really good question. A little bit more of a deep one. I quite like it. How do you deal with stress when you're working in another country and you're away from home? Because that's really what you're doing. You work as much as cool as your basketball career is. It's work. How do you deal with that? Well, like when stuff starts to go wrong, or you find yourself a bit out of form, or everything else that just goes into having such a big move and moving somewhere else.
Yeah, I probably didn't really feel like a job until you start having family around, until you're traveling overseas with my wife, and suddenly it's not just your life on the line, it's you got someone else you got to provide for as well. So big part of it is having a good sport base, being able to talk to her, whether it's a good day, bad day, and then also talking to your other family and friends, making sure you're feeling confident, you're feeling good. If you do have an issue, you're talking to someone about it, and just in trying to enjoy it, try to find something positive out of every day to kind of make it a little bit easier and send those little goals to get you through when times are tough.
Definitely, yeah. And Em is the most amazing supportive partner, follows you around everywhere. She's been involved with some of the Boomers stuff as well, where she was what was she? She massage therapist. She had a role with the Boomers.
She helped out with the Wildcats with that stuff, but then she helped us. She actually came over with the Boomers and was essentially a nutritionist for the group, so we could help her get into the country. And
so good.
I mean, it was so good. The loopholes you can get through, but we need to have her come over and do that stuff, and then be able to stay in Japan. That made last year or 2 years ago way easier, and it was good for her to be actually able to be there and live there and see what life is like in Japan together.
Definitely. And I've got one more question, then we'll go into a little bit more of other basketball stuff. So it was sent in quite a bit, actually, in different variations. Do you see yourself coming back to the NBL before you retire?
Absolutely.
Good.
I mean, hopefully another couple of years overseas, but would love to finish the career over here, and especially in a place like Perth. We got a house here now. Em's family's from here, and we've kind of established that Perth's going to be home base when basketball's done.
Here,
so yeah, exactly. What am I going to do without you in the off season?
Yeah.
So I'd love to come back and play in the NBL for sure.
Yeah, so let's talk about Japan and the last 12 months and what that's looked like for you and your team. You had a pretty successful year. Run us through the year. How did it all kind of pan out?
Yeah, I mean, we got over there and it didn't exactly start the most successfully. We came up against a team that ended up getting relegated and took a big 20-point loss to start the season.
Who was
probably Nagata. It was
Yeah.
probably a nice way of putting it, kicking the nuts to start the season and really whooped us into gear. So after that, we kind of got rolling, realised how we had to play and that we weren't able just to roll into games. Had to prepare the right way, be ready to go and play hard, and had a pretty good year overall. We ended up, I think, third overall. Mm-hmm. It was only the last couple of games of the season that kind of let us down from even winning our conference, but just kind of fell short right at the end of the season. Wasn't playing our best basketball, and obviously injury to our naturalised guy didn't help that either.
Yeah, of course. And how do you actually like living in Japan? Have you adjusted?
It's cool.
It's a pretty sick place.
It is. We're in a pretty small place in compared to some of the other places, but I mean, the community's so helpful. We get packed stadiums every week, all cheering. You go to the shops and people are wanting photos and supporting, and it just shows that, especially from the first day I got there to where it's at now, how much it's grown throughout the community. And you love that. You love seeing the kids and stuff enjoy it, and that kind of makes you want to go back and keep building that program and hopefully winning a title there.
Yep, you've been far too humble with that, because I came on over in December to visit you guys and watch some games. I came to 4 games. There was 2 away ones and 2 home ones that I came to. And this man, when he's walking around town, he sucks the air. The air gets sucked out of the building when he walks in. Doesn't matter if you're at a restaurant or the shops or walking down the street. It's Nicky. Like, they love him. They absolutely love him.
Saying that though, you probably signed as many autographs when you were over there as I did.
It was my first time I've ever signed an autograph was in Japan, and that's because I was your trainer. So that was pretty good. I was wearing the Boomers shirt that I've got on right now. We're sitting front row, me and Em courtside for one of the games. And I'm like, you weren't looking at what I was doing, but I was high-fiving everybody, having a great time. And like, it's so funny. And it's like this for all the stadiums, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you're not really allowed, it's very like uniformed excitement. So if you're sitting in the stands in Japan, you're allowed to clap and do a couple of, every team's got a bit of a different clapping sequence. So it's like, go Magic,
go Magic.
Or whatever the team is. But that's all you're allowed to do. And it's all very like structured. But then there's me that, is there jumping out of my seat when there's a foul being called, then you're hitting a three and I'm there high-fiving everyone. I'm, the only other Australian guy in the building in a bright yellow singlet and carrying on and a little bit
standing out a little bit.
Yeah, standing out a little bit on the court side. This is just before the end of the game. It was really close, that last game that I came and watched. I think you won by 2 points. And it was a really exciting game, and I was going nuts. I never sat courtside before. It was all great. I get this little tap on the shoulder by the little court security guy.
Security guy, maybe.
I don't know what he was. He touched me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Excuse me, sir." And I was like, "Oh shit! Like, what's up?" And he goes, "No high fiving." And I went, "What?"
Huh?
He goes, "No high five." And I was like, what do you... Anyways, towards the end of the game, so I was like, okay, whatever. And sort of left it at that. And Em's next to me. She's dying.
Got a little giggle going on. Like.
Yeah, she's dying. She's going, oh my God, she's so embarrassed. I'm carrying on and everything. Anyway, and then super exciting end of the game. You win by 2 points. And then we're hanging around for everybody to clear out the stadium, which is so uniform as well. Everybody is...
Everyone walks out the same way, same time.
Yeah. And we're waiting for you to come out. So there's no one left in the stadium. The only other person that's walking down the side of the court is the guy that told me
the security guy.
And it was such an exciting game. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him good here. So we're walking past, and I was like, mate, great game. Going for a high five, and he's like, oh, great game. High five me, and I got ya. And he died. He was like, sorry. He's running around with his hand like this, like it's got a disease on it. He's on the hand sanitizer, but just such a different play. So
it is. But like, they're such great fans. Like I was telling you earlier, like if you have your worst game of your career and they're still there supporting you, cheering you on, and wanting to do better, and I mean that's part of that motivation to get better every day is because they're so supportive of you, and no matter what you do, they want you to be successful, and you want to be successful for them.
It is so different because, like, diving a bit deeper into that, you say that, oh yeah, the fans are great wherever you play, but the Japanese fans are the most positive fans you've ever. There's not a single bad comment. If you had a stinker game, they're like, you did us proud, you did the team honor tonight, and all this like really deep and lovely stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you'll do it. You'll have it next week. It's okay. Like, we'll fight again. And it's just like, no, like you can have a go at me. Like, oh, I didn't play well. It's fine. But no, they're just so supportive, and you got to love it because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just such a crazy different comparison when you're looking at sport here. You have a game and everybody's on Facebook going, you idiot, sack him, get him off the court.
You miss a shot and you're sacked next week. They love you again, but that's
absolutely
just
crazy.
Yeah, it's part of sport, and it's just a little bit different over there.
And then in terms of the actual, like, how the game is played, what's the difference between the B League and the NBL?
I think personally, my biggest things, you're matched up on someone so talented every week.
Yeah.
And there's obviously a very import focus in regards to scoring in the B League. So you come up against guys like Vic Law, John Mooney.
It's all very much the same
Sean
imports
Long.
that have been
here.
There's
been a lot of successful NBL imports that have gone over to the B League and been very successful, but there's more pressure on you to be effective scoring and score more points. So you come up against these guys and you're in for a big game. You've got to get down in your stance. You've got to play some defense and get some stops. And that's probably the biggest thing. There's more pressure on you individually to perform defensively and offensively night in, night out. While I guess in Oz and stuff, it's probably a bit more team focus on a lot of those areas. But over there, a bit more individual.
Do you reckon the quality is better in either or pretty similar?
Yeah,
similar
it's
sort
pretty
of
similar.
imports.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. Obviously, same type of players and stuff. I think probably the depth overall is probably a little bit greater in Oz. Saying that, though, there are some really talented Japanese guys, and you're probably 1 through 7, 8 are really talented on each team. So there's no easy nights, and you got to turn up every week to play.
Is the communication pretty hard? Like coming from a team where everybody obviously speaks English here, going over there, it must be difficult to communicate stuff on the court, whether it's plays or feedback with some of the guys.
It is. It definitely took some adjusting. Probably more so in Spain when I first went over there, just that first time being outside Australia. But I guess the big thing about Japan is just the way you communicate and stuff's different over there.
How so?
Well, I guess in Oz, you know where it's what you're saying, you know where it's coming from in terms of team success. If say you want to have a go at, like, someone's done something wrong, and the way you communicate here, you can get up and give them a spray and have a response. You're not able to do that necessarily over there. It's the way you say things are probably more important.
Like teammates, like if you're on the court and you're like, they mess something up or they weren't in their spot or something, and you're giving them, oi, get here, they would sort of take that as a, oh my gosh, Nick's really angry at me, and sort of close up. Or?
Absolutely. That's quite a big thing. Even at training and stuff, the same thing can happen. You've got to, the way you communicate and the way you say something's probably more important than what you're saying at the time. And you've got to be able to maybe not do it in front of everyone, be able to talk to someone on the side, or try and give some positive talk along with it to really allow guys to flourish over there. And again, that took some adjusting. I'm used to someone giving me a spray if I've done something wrong.
Trevor Gleeson screaming at you.
I know, you got Trevor over there yelling at you, telling you what you need to do better or what you need to do different. And I've always responded really well to that. So it's been a little bit different adjusting to that. And I guess from a coach perspective, knowing your players and stuff's a huge thing, because you can give one person a spray, but you can't necessarily do it to someone else. And I definitely don't envy a coach's position in that.
Yeah, definitely. It's not that you'd be dishing out many sprays anyway. I can't imagine.
I try not to. I'm a pretty positive guy out there and stuff, but maybe that's where you got to give someone a tap on the back and try and help them up
get
when someone
has
kind of said something, just to try and get some positive movement out of that. So.
Definitely. And then the other communication that would be difficult would be the refs. So, because they're all Japanese refs, and the games that I saw, some of the American imports were like, they wear, the Japanese refs wear these big like masks, so they're still masked up for the game, but they're like sagging down. They look like a ball sack, to be honest, on their mouth. I'll be perfectly. That's what they look. That's what they look like.
You have to pull a picture of that and just show it. Like it's. I don't know what's going on there.
Big bills like this, and then some of the American guys are like, for a call, they'll be up this close to them, abusing them. They're swearing, "Fuck you, blah," but they obviously don't understand what that means, so they get away with literally abusing the ref this close to them.
Pretty fortunate a lot of the time, because I mean, just the lost in translation thing can happen so much, and there's some cases you really look back and like, goodness, we got lucky with that one, or vice versa. How did they get away with that? But those big things are something else.
So funny, eh?
Oh, well.
Have you got any big recruits, new ones for this coming season? Or
yeah, just picked up a guy from the EuroLeague actually as our third import. We got myself, Perrin Buford, and Hassan Martin coming in, who looks like he's going to be really good for us. And they've also got a couple other guys from Japan that have switched teams and stuff. So
great,
looking good, but obviously early, so we've got a lot of work to do this preseason.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to come back over in January to be this time. We'll watch a few more games, and it's going to be good fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So let's move on to a big part of FatChat is talking about performance, everything performance related, and really getting into what you're actually doing week on week, and maybe other periods in your career where you've had to change some things up or improve yourself. So I guess like with sport, I find that there's obviously like a few different categories. So there's the skill side of stuff, there's the physical training, there's nutrition, mentality, and then recovery. So let's kind of go through all of those things. Let's start with like skills first. So what does like a week of skills work look like for you when you're in season and then off season as well?
Yeah, in season's a little bit different off season. Both start very similar in regards to, you always want to work on a bit of ball handling and stuff before training, and then your fundamentals. So whether it's shot form, you're working on something like the routine you're going to go through when you shoot a shot, one hand, positioning, all that kind of thing. And then you're going to kind of normally start in close to the basket, work your way out a little bit, and you want to get those shots to get the body moving and feel good about it. In terms of ball handling, be able to, everything you do on your right hand, do on your left. Work on a few moves you want to apply during games.
Is there any actual routines that you do for that? Like you're going, cool, I'm doing X amount of reps on them or anything like that? Or?
The shooting I do. I normally do form probably about 5 minutes. I go through the same 5 to 10, same routine every day before training starts, and it's kind of just become a habit now for me. Every day you get in there, you want to go through this stuff, and then kind of just sets you off into this is training today, this is what I've got to do, and it's kind of a mental stepping stone into a good day of training.
So literally, what are you doing for that? So like for that 10 minutes, what do you actually do?
So it's only really about 50 to 100 makes. First one's one hand form shooting. Then I go back a bit further, go in from a shooting position into one hand form shooting. And then I go to, I think, spin the ball out to the elbows, get some shots, pivoting one way, pivoting the other way from both elbows. Then I head to the post and work on a few shots I want to add to the game. Square up jab, square up shot, and then some fadeaways both sides. And a lot of it's just getting the body ready and right, but it's also things that when you need it in a game, you're able to rely on these shots that you've been practicing day in, day out, and know that you've put the time and effort into these shots.
Definitely. So then the shots that you're saying that you've been improving on and working on, what have been the ones that you've seen most improvement with for the last sort of 12 months you've been working on?
Yeah, probably just those little baseline fades. It's not something I go to a whole lot, but it's something that, especially in Japan, there's a lot of double teams that come, and they normally come from baseline side. So your ability when the defender's playing on the high side of you to catch the ball and turn straight into a shot, create space and get the shot off when a double team's coming. It's something that I've been working on, and hopefully we'll be able to even use a bit more this time.
Yeah, definitely. And are you coming off, this is career high 3-point percent shooting year or close to?
Yeah, it'd be close to. I'm not sure if
you led the team in 3-point percent.
Yeah, I think got the whole B League thankfully this year. It was nice.
So what did you finish on?
Just under 45%. So
yeah, great.
I don't know if it's the highest percentage I've had, but it was definitely the most I've made. So I guess just the attempts have gone up as well, and the type of shots I'm taking have gone up in difficulty a little bit too, where I guess when I was at Perth, a lot of them were straight catch and shoot, while these a little bit more off the dribble and a little bit more movement into these shots as well.
Yeah, great. And do you think that now that you're sort of a bit more, even more so known for your 3-point percent shooting and how accurate you are from out there, that's why you're now working on those other little, shots and moves off the 3-point, like the fade and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the better you shoot it, the more adjustments teams are going to make to how they guard you, which may be switching, maybe showing, all these things. And you need to be able to adjust to the way they're guarding you and take advantage of that. So if they are going to switch, they're going to put a guard onto you. Where are you going to get your shots, and working on those type of shots for this next season, because the adjustments are going to come and you got to be ready for that. You can't wait till we're in the game and then be like, oh, now they're going to switch. What am I going to go to? You got to have things already prepared and ready to go.
Yeah. And has there been a time throughout any of the teams that you played for throughout your whole career that you've been given some feedback on a skill in particular that was like, Nick, you need to do this to get to the next level?
Yeah, especially when I first came in, a lot of it was just the shooting part of it. I've always been a guy that's going to work hard and run the floor hard, dive on loose balls, do all those things, but I wasn't necessarily the best shooter, and especially coming out of college, I couldn't really hit too many shots at all. So that's been something that I've really spent a lot of time working on, and it's not just one coach that's helped, but a lot of different coaches that have given feedback and tried to help me in the right direction, and it's taken some time, but it's starting to pay off.
Yeah, and is there a drill that you do at the end of all your sessions as well? I think I remember you telling me this, that you do like 100 makes before you walk out the gym?
Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy. Obviously, each day varies a little, but I guess every day of training now, it's once training's finished, you go get the ball, you got a rebounder, and you go on 10 or 15 from 7 spots, and then minimum of 100 makes. So you got to find a way, and the shots you're going to use for that week in the game, we're going to start working on them, whether it's step out shots or whether it's trailing into some threes, all these things that I feel like I'm going to get those shots in the game. So some pick and pop stuff, and then minimum of 100 shots, 100 makes. So just feel good. You feel confident going in, and you've seen the ball go in all week. So you know when you get to that game that shots ready and prepared, and I guess it's also that attitude shift towards knowing that next one, if you do miss, the next one is going to go in. So
yeah, absolutely. And then when it's coming up to like a game day, how much tape and prep do you put into the team that you're playing or the matchup that you got for that game?
Yeah, a lot. Whether it's individually watching tape, whether it's team video sessions before trainings, individual watching what their opposition player is going to be doing, how they're going to play, the defensive coverages, and what their strengths and weaknesses are. So a lot of time goes into it. Thankfully, we've had a really good assistant coaches this year, and they've put a lot of time and effort into it, and that helps a lot. They probably don't get enough credit for it during seasons and stuff, wherever you are in the world. Like, assistants put in a lot of time, a lot of their own time into it, so that's very helpful and kind of makes that process a lot easier.
Definitely. And at the moment, this being sort of the off-season for you, you're getting ready to go away to the Boomers camp over in Cairns in, what, 3 weeks' time?
Yeah.
2 weeks' time?
Yeah, start of August, so it's
crazy,
coming
so
around
close.
quickly. It's one of those things where you do have an off-season, but when you've got something like that before the off-season even finishes, you've got to put a lot of time and effort in to be ready for that, because it's going to be a tough camp.
So what's the skill stuff that you're doing right now in terms of like the volume of sessions? Because you're training with like Trev Gleeson at the moment. You're doing some other skills work with another coach down Coburn. There was a few sessions that you're getting down to.
Yep. So a lot of it's just trying to work on adding a few little pieces to your game, being able to go a little bit more off the dribble, create space on some of those shots. And then I think as we get closer to this camp, it's just refining it a little bit, making sure that what I need to be great at for this camp and where I'm going to have an opportunity to be successful at the camp. I'm working on those things to prepare me the best I can, so I'm ready for the camp and to give it the best chance I can to make that team.
Hey legends, quick little break in the podcast with Nick. Just a reminder, if you've got 20 seconds of your time, to do me a massive favour. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, following or liking the episodes of FatChat on any of the streaming platforms that you're listening to it on, it really goes a long way into getting great guests on each and every week and continuing to bring you the pod. Takes you 20 seconds of your time. It'd do me a massive favour and I'd really appreciate it. For this episode with Nick, we've also got a pretty sick giveaway. So I have got a signed jersey from Nick, a Perth Wildcats jersey to give away to a lucky listener of FatChat. And as you've been listening the last few weeks, you're going to need to know the code word to claim your prize. So the code word to win the signed jersey from Nick K, a Wildcats jersey signed by him, is Magic. He plays for the Shimane Magic. So we've got the code word as Magic today. So make sure you remember that one. Subscribe, follow, like the episodes that you're enjoying a FatChat, and let's get back to the episode. Here we go. Is there anybody throughout any of the teams, again, that you played for that you've kind of modeled yourself on how you're preparing for training, putting in extra sessions, doing that extra skill work and sort of getting those little drills and making that a bit of a habit as part of your routine, that when you walk into the gym before practice and games? Was there anybody that you really modeled yourself off?
I don't know if modeled what I do off, but I guess someone who I learnt a lot off is someone like Jesse Wagstaff.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what day it was or how he was feeling. He was in there every day getting shots up, getting game shots, what he needed. And he was always in there early doing the extra work and stuff. And I guess coming over to Perth, seeing that firsthand, kind of, if you've got a leader doing that, then there's no reason that you as an individual when you're younger can't do that as well. So he really kind of kicked my butt into gear when it came to that stuff, and whether he knows it or not, like, that really helped me.
Yeah, great. And then let's move from skills to like the physical training side of things. So what does it look like with playing in the B League, with how much you train versus how much you play games? Because it's almost like an NBA schedule that you play so many games in a season. How do you actually fit in lifting weights and doing the conditioning and all that other side of stuff, except for actually playing basketball?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's been a long time since I had to play back-to-back, so we play every Saturday, Sunday, and then basically
It's a huge schedule.
It gets you those second games. You feel it on the legs a little, but
and it's hard to win the next night against the same. If you had a win on the first one, fucking hard.
You're up and about. You're feeling really good, and meanwhile the other team's sleeping there or laying there during the night. Yeah, pissed, thinking how are we going to do it differently? What are we going to do to get this win? And that mental factor in that's really tough. But I guess preparing right during the off season, getting the body right as much as you can, and then during season, once season starts, training sessions cut down a little in time, and you've just got to focus on those individual things. So shots after training, what you're going to need for the games, making sure you're getting all that done, and then lifting. Trying to get at least 2 or 3 sessions in a week.
There's not really like a very big gym culture in Japan.
No,
That's the other thing.
It's not, and they're very short sessions. So I like to be in there for about an hour. It makes me feel good. Feel like I'm getting what I need. But sometimes you just don't have that time. You're really focusing more towards that half an hour for a lot of guys. Just getting the necessities in and trying to maintain the best you can during season.
Definitely. Well, man, you've come back and we've been squatting, we've been bench pressing, we've been doing all the big lifts. The squat depth, I don't know what you've been doing for the last 12 months with your squats. It's so deep right now.
Working on it. Trying to get it back. I mean, after last off season, really wanted to try and work on that, and it's helping. Feel good, feeling more athletic and stuff, but just need to be able to apply that to the games and stuff now. And I'm sure, like, I was never a big stretcher, and obviously that's increased the older I've got as well.
Yeah, definitely. And what are you doing with the nutrition and diet side of your game? Are you following anything? It's obviously, again, really big cultural difference with the food that's actually just available to cook, and even like the kitchen setup that even that you have in a Japanese kitchen.
As you saw, we've got small kitchens. They're not big on ovens over there or anything, so what we cook's a little bit different. And then obviously my wife's vegetarian, so that's also another factor that's very different. Being able to adjust to that took a little bit of time, but you don't have a specific nutritional plan. Obviously, you know what's good and what's not for you.
You eat a heap of food though, or you're not too bad? I don't think you're too bad.
Not in the mornings. I'm pretty light. Normally, just like try to start the day with a little coffee, head into training, get through that, and then I'll probably 2 or 3 meals for the rest of the day, and then just try and eat healthy as much as you can. On the roads, obviously a little bit more, and keep the fluids up as well. So.
Yeah. What do you do for recovery? You mentioned you're doing a little bit more stretching.
Yeah, a little bit more stretching.
Yeah. Any other routines you do? Do you do ice baths? Do you do, other stretching stuff? Do you do Pilates? Do anything like that? Or?
We haven't done too much of that. Obviously, core's something I've tried to work on a lot these last couple of years. So making sure whether it's just a little extra core session in every couple of days just to feel good, the stretching, the hydration, especially with the back-to-back games, making sure you get a good dose of water and stuff in before that next game, and then trying to eat well as well. Like, obviously with quick turnaround, getting some food into you as quick as possible, it's been very beneficial.
In the off season as well, you train Monday to Friday. Like, you go hard Monday, Friday. You double sessions. You're doing weights. You're training. Sometimes 2 skill sessions, then weights as well. But then you've got a pretty strict rule that Saturday, Sunday, that's Nick's days off. You don't do anything.
Especially right now. I mean, I'm trying to hit it pretty hard during the week, so weekends have been very relaxing and also just good for just getting away from it a little bit. So it forces you to do those extra sessions during the week. Make sure you're getting your conditioning, your weights, your shooting and all that, because you do earn those days off at the end of the week. So been pretty strict with that, especially this off season, and it's been good. Enjoying it, and it makes you work that a little bit harder.
And the physical training is one thing, but then with sport, there's so much of the mental side of stuff that goes into it with preparation, and just making yourself feel refreshed and confident about your game and getting out there and doing what you do. So, is there anything that you follow or practice yourself in terms of mentally recovering or mentally recharging when things maybe aren't quite going the way that you're needing them to go?
Yeah.
Say if you get spanked, what do you do? Well, I mean, in a game,
well, it kind of goes hand in hand, right? I was going to say, obviously, that support system you got with Emily, but that's you got me there. Oh my goodness,
I'll throw it in.
So you got me. Obviously, that support system's a big thing, especially when I was younger. When I was more just myself, away, living in different places. You have a bad game, and it's going to stick with you for that next week until your next opportunity. Now, I guess when you've had a bad game, you're able to go home and you're with family. You're able to put it behind you a little bit quicker and move on to the next thing, knowing that you've obviously got to bounce back this next opportunity you get. But just the ability to kind of move on a little bit quicker and not stay as, I guess, mad at yourself, because I get mad at myself a lot out there.
You're crazily competitive. You're super humble about everything when you talk about yourself, but you're so competitive when it comes to anything. So
definitely a bit of a perfectionist, and when I'm shooting after training and stuff, like I'm getting mad at myself. I want every shot to go in. I expect every shot to go in, and when it doesn't, I'm I'm mad. I'm not happy with how I'm performing, and I want it to be better. And
So how do you actually pull that back to being able to just focusing on you on the court and just getting what you need to get done?
I think the biggest thing is I'm happy with getting mad at myself at that point in time. Trainings, shooting after, all that kind of thing. I'm happy to be mad at myself at that point. When it gets to the game, because I've put the time and effort in, I know that I've done the work that I can be ready, and I can move on quicker in that regard because I have put that time and effort in. So I think that's the balance I've found. I haven't been able to kind of get away from that pressure I put on myself at training, but when I get to the game, it's moving on to that next play, and that's probably where I've adjusted the most.
Definitely. Have you got like one example of like a game throughout your career that maybe you have found yourself getting a little bit mad at yourself, and then exactly what you did to get yourself out of that?
Yeah.
I know you've just touched on like, that's the process that you do, but is there one actual example of that you found yourself in a bit of a hole?
I think there's been a few games where things aren't going well. One of the ones that jump out at me, I think we're playing Melbourne in Melbourne, and it might have been one of the last games of the season. First half, I was trash, and you go into that halftime locker and you're just looking like, what am I doing here? Like, coach should just be sitting me on the bench, but you got that opportunity to come out and refresh in that second half like it's a new game. And I think came out that third quarter and had around 15, 17 points or something, and it was just that refresh where you could go back in, reset the mind, come out and kind of play it like a new game, and that really allowed me to go out and play better in that second half.
Definitely. And when you're prepping for a game or you go to training, whatever, you seem, whenever I've seen you've been first to get there, you seem to be the last to leave, you're doing your shots after. Is that something you've always done even throughout like your juniors? You've been motivated to do that yourself? Or is that something, like you said, that you maybe developed a little bit later and learning off guys like Jesse and that? Or
always kind of been a guy that liked to get the extra work and stuff in. I guess it's the way it happens and stuff's changed a little bit now. Obviously, the younger in your career, you could probably do a little bit more time. And I know at Illawarra and Townsville, Nordo and myself used to go in, get train in the morning, then go back in every night and get shots up. Little unable to do that as much now, so it's making sure you get that extra time after training, getting the shots up and stuff, and making the most of the opportunity while you've got some rebounders and stuff there as well, so you're getting the most out of the time that you are there.
Yeah, for sure. And then what actually motivates you to keep coming back, keep getting better, rocking up to training, doing what you need to do, putting in all the extras? What actually motivates you to do that? What's the mindset behind it?
Yeah, I guess I've always kind of been intrinsic with a lot of that stuff. So finding just those little edges here and there, and there's not much bigger motivation than when you got a World Cup coming up, you got an Olympics the year after, you got a championship at the end of every year, and when you got to also provide for your family and stuff as well, that you've got to go out there and you've got to perform well. And I just try and set it like year by year goals, and knowing that like with this World Cup so close and the camp coming up, I've got to do everything I possibly can to make that team. So I've got an opportunity to go there, and you just try and break it down into those little things. And anytime I could do with a sleep in this morning, that's a motivation right there to get you up and get you going. And that's all I need.
Incredibly driven. It's fucking crazy. But in terms of your actual game day prep, you're rocking up game day. Do you have any routines that you follow? I know that we've spoke about this before, where like, you know, you used to eat a Subway, you used to do your little nap, you used to do this, you used to do that. What's the routine that you're following at the moment?
Routine now,
I want from the start of the day to when literally the ball is being thrown up in the air.
Yeah, we've got a lot of different game times throughout the season now. So I guess a home game normally starts around 2:00, so not a whole lot of time. Sleep in a little bit, get up, have some brekkie. Like to watch a little bit of NBA or something in the morning. Kind of get you in that basketball mood and stuff. Have a nice little lunch or brunch in there, and normally something pretty hearty, something like a pasta or that. Kind of gets everything going and feeling good. And then I love a nice little coffee just before I head off for the game as well. So that's a little energy kick to get me going, get to the game nice and early, and just get prepped and ready to go. So definitely routine's changed a lot. Not as strict with what I need to do and what I have to do.
It's funny because when I've been talking to people about this, it kind of seems to be the longer their career goes on, the less they don't care so much about the routine being spot on. So it was sort of like early on, there was lots of benefits to doing that. But then as you get a little bit, more experienced, if you sort of back a few of those things off,
it doesn't impact you as much as you think it would.
Yeah.
I thought if I don't get my nap in today, there is no way I'm going to play well. Or if you don't get it in one game and you don't have your best game, that's the reason. Well, it's not actually the reason, but it's just what you think at the time.
It's interesting, eh?
It is. It's, I guess, that mental aspect of the game that is such a key factor and stuff. And I guess the mental impacts the physical as well. So if you're a little bit tired and stuff out there, then that can impact your performance as well. But I'm good. I feel a lot better with not having to worry as much. And I guess with kid on the way and stuff, that's going to change even more. So I'm kind of glad it's gone away from being so routine based.
Definitely. There's going to be a whole different routine. It's going to be around baby K's nap time and feed time, and
I'll just be fitting in with everything else now. So
exactly.
It'll be right.
I know I've got a lot of young basketballers that are listening to this. Is there like one piece of advice that you were given at any point throughout your career and journey that you can pass on to them, whether it's something to help them increase their skill set or extra work, or just things that you kind of wish you knew a little bit earlier?
Yeah, I guess one of the big things for myself was going away from just working on simple like catch and shoot and stuff to working on shots I was going to do in a game. That was probably the big jump from when I went to Illawarra to Perth. Was I started working on those game shots a lot more, and it helped the percentages go up a lot more. So that's something that if you got the opportunity to work on, definitely work on making sure you're doing those game shots. And it doesn't have to be 2 hours of work to get that. It's get in there, get the shots you need, and get out. And it can be a lot more effective in my time, which I wasn't when I was early in my professional career.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk the next few months for you, because you've got some big stuff coming up. So
big few months.
You've got baby K on the way.
Yep, not far away now.
Huge. And then you've also got it was supposed to be scheduled on the exact same day as baby was due, that you're going to go away for the Boomers camp over in Cairns. Was it the same day or almost the same day?
Pretty much. I mean, baby's due early August and camp starts the 1st. So it's very touch and go right there. We're still trying to figure it all out in that. But
so what's the plan for that? Do you have a plan? Is it that you're just going to see what happens for the next couple of weeks?
We've talked about doing an induction and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, whatever's best for Emily, that's the main thing, and baby. Got another appointment coming up, and I guess the doctor's the big call on it. She decides what's best for everyone, and we'll have to roll with that. So,
great.
I mean, as I said, like your priorities in life, family's the most important thing. So,
and also it's training camp. You're already in the team anyway. So
I wish that would be nice, but it'll be right. We'll make it work. The Boomers have been great with it all, and
that's good.
As I said, just trying to do all the work now. So then, if I do miss a day or something, or have to fly back, then I've positioned myself the best I can to still show what I can do when I'm there. But
of course,
just want to be there. I don't want to miss that birth or anything.
Absolutely.
Emily needs that support system as well.
Definitely. And there's so many guys in the Boomers team right now that are just fighting for positions. It's huge. So, I mean, there's so many players that are in the NBA and playing in really high leagues all around the world. It's going to be very competitive going on over and doing this camp. So how many guys are invited? How many guys are they bringing it down to for the final squad?
There's 18 guys at camp.
Yep.
I mean, right now, I'd say there's probably 12 of them in the NBA or something
well,
like that.
I'm just going to list a couple. These are just the ones that I've just got. There's Paddy Mills, Jock Landau, Dante Exum, Ingles, Green, Cook, and Matisse Thimble. Like, that's just stacked already. That's just a couple of names. There's double the amount of that. They're all killing it everywhere else as well.
That's for sure. So the opportunity, there's not a whole lot of spots left, but it's just finding ways to impact the team and be beneficial when you're out there. Make it so a team like that needs you in the team for whatever reason. So,
well, all the gun players are there, but they don't do some of the hard stuff that you do. I mean, you're chasing down the rebounds. You don't necessarily need to have the ball in your hands the whole time. You're happy to dish it out and just do all that hard, dirty work too as well.
That's what I'll be trying to do. Trying to get guys like Paddy in that open, create space for a guy like Giddy. If I can set a good screen and get him open, his ability to create for others, like it's gonna be tough. But like if you can help those guys, then they make you look good. I've never been a great player one-on-one, or a guy, if you go out and play one-on-one against some other guys, never been my game at all.
But in the team environment.
In the team environment, if I can get someone else open, they do the work, and then you can get rewarded with a layup or something, then it works for team success as well.
So how many weeks are you there? It's 3 weeks, and then you got games after that?
So camp's only about 10 days. Then I think there's a couple games in camp. Then head off to Melbourne if you make that. They're going to cut it back to 12 or something, 12 I think, and then 3 games in Melbourne. I think a couple in Tokyo, and then World Cup. So
then who are you playing in Melbourne for those first few?
There's a Four Nations thing. I actually not 100% sure. I guess just trying to focus day by day and week by week. The way my brain works, it's just those little goals each week and then once we get there, focus on that.
And where's the World Cup hosted this year?
It's in 3 different countries. Australia will be in Japan to start with, down in Okinawa. And then you've got the Philippines and Indonesia as well. Yeah,
great. And then you're up to Japan for the first lot of games in that? Or was that before?
I think it's all in Okinawa from the first half of the tournament or something. So.
Yeah, great. And with some of the lead-up stuff as well, you've captained the Boomers team as well for some of the lead-up games. How was that?
That was unreal.
That must have been amazing.
That's something I never even dreamed about playing for Oz. Thought that was out of reach. And then to not only do that, but then be able to captain in these windows has been truly something special. And to do it with a guy I went to school with in Mitch McCarron was also really special. So it's been awesome. It kind of changes the way you got to approach a lot of the games, and was just truly an honour. Something I'll always be, one of my most fondest memories will always be able to say I've gone out there and captained the Boomers team, and I'm happy to give that back to the big dogs for a tournament like this, but it's always something I'll have next to my name now. So
it's pretty awesome. And then that team that you were part of with the Tokyo Olympics that won the first medal that Australia's ever won in basketball, bronze medal, was amazing. What's the feeling like, and what's the motivation, what's the drive like for the group so far? I know you haven't been to the camp yet, but I'm sure it's just brewing and everybody's on the same page.
Players chat, and I think it might have been one of the first messages. I think Paddy sent through a little video of highlight thing from when we were at the last one, and goodness, I don't even know what time. It might have been 6 a.m. and I was about to get up for training, and it comes through, and next thing I've jumped out of bed, got the shoes on, I'm out the door within 5-10 minutes, just because you just get that hyped about being involved in a group like that, and it makes you go to a level that you didn't even know you could go to. So I can't wait to just get around the group, and all you want is Australia's success, whether you're in it or not, as long as Australia does well, and hopefully we can bring home that gold this time, because that is the goal. And as the motto went last time, GVO, gold vibes only, and I'm sure that'll be right there again.
Absolutely. And then who's second ranked team of those? So US is obviously ranked number 1 currently.
Yep.
Who's second?
I think Spain's second right now, and then I'm not sure if us or France. I think there's a few teams that are right around that area. And saying that though, you got your Slovenias and all that, there's a lot of teams. It's going to be a battle this year, and it's going to be fun to see how it all pans out.
And there's just so many NBA guys in all the teams now, all those top level teams.
Such a worldly game now. It's not just Americans everywhere. It's people from every country, and I'd be surprised if there'd be an NBA player in almost half the teams at least now. So
definitely. Well, man, I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be so exciting. I'm so excited for you.
So good. Such a good time.
Good,
and it's just good for Australian basketball
Massive.
Together. The way it grew after the Olympics, and to think that we got another opportunity here to grow the game even further. So, yeah, just to see it keep getting better and better.
Definitely. So that's it for the basketball stuff. I'm so excited to watch you, do that for the next few months. It's going to be awesome. Now, one other little bit is that you're obviously about to be a dad, Daddy K. And if you're anything like your dad looks like in a few years' time, it's going to be amazing. If anybody hasn't seen Nick K's dad, he's an absolute fox, right? He's a daddy. He's a daddy. I met him at your wedding, and he got very awkward when I came up to him, and I said, "You're a very, very good-looking man." But
probably hadn't had enough red wines by that point.
I had, so that's right. But anyway, you're about to be a dad, and I've been hearing that you've been going to a class every week with your lovely wife Em, and it's teaching you how to be a dad and how
to the basic info.
Yeah, that's right. So I asked Em about it, and she said that sometimes you're more interested in watching the State of Origin rugby on your phone during the class.
You think they'd put it on at a different time? Clearly the State of Origin's on. Don't start the class right as the game's starting. But
So she said, can you just quiz him on a couple of things to see if he knows the answers? So I was like, oh, perfect. So I was like, send me through. She said, I'll send you through the brochures. So she sent me through the brochures. And I'll be honest, I learned so much stuff. There was so much
You might be getting prepared yourself, mate.
Definitely not. But there was so much hectic stuff that I learned in there. About I've never heard more about discharges in my life. It was
that's full on class. The first time you go in there and the stuff you start talking about, I was a little, oh my goodness, what have I got myself into? But saying that though, you look around the class. I remember walking in there. I'm looking around and all these dads in there look like they've got their shit together, and I'm sitting there like, no.
You're watching the State of Origin, going, what happened? Going.
Thankfully, that was I think the third class. Thankfully, so I got through the first couple. But you walk in there and you look at all these dads, and then you're sitting there a little nervous. But some of the questions are start getting asked and stuff, and you're like, you know what? I'm actually not doing too bad. The chest start pumping up.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I think I'm doing okay now.
That's good.
I'm a little nervous where this is going, so I guess we'll find out.
But the summary that when I was looking through the brochures and that pretty much the dad is fucking useless.
He does nothing.
Right, so he does it. That was the summary that I got.
Yep.
The dad does nothing. You pretty much have got one job, and you need to be able to pass this test. So the one job that you've really got is you need to pack M's bag.
Oh, no.
To go to the hospital, all right? This is it. This should be fucking easy, all right? This should be easy.
There's no chance.
I only need you to tell me 3 things that you're packing in your beautiful wife's M's pregnancy bag when you go to the hospital. Just give me 3 items that are necessities for her.
Necessities. Oh, God.
The baby's on the way, Nick.
The baby's on the way. Quick,
get the fucking bag. Put it in.
Well, first
quickly.
thing, obviously you need the bag, but we won't tell you that. I think there's maternity singlets.
Yep, that's good. That's on the list.
I mean, I feel like ice packs are a big one. And then
going very rogue. There's some much easier ones than this, but continue. Yeah.
Pajamas,
slippers. Yep, that's all good stuff.
So she needs a couple clothes and gowns. Not going without a gown.
Yep, great.
And would not survive. I thought we said 3.
Well, yeah, you got lots. You're absolutely killing it.
Goodness.
But like, there's some. I'll be honest. There's some really important ones that you've missed here. And you're going to make sure that you're going to get them.
Obviously, are we talking just for M or are we talking for the baby as well?
Oh, no, for just for M. This is just about M. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Now you got me a bit
You need a toothbrush. All right.
Oh, okay. We need a toiletries.
Right, I need toiletries back. And then the other one that's so important that you would have forgotten, a fucking phone charger. Make sure you put the phone charger in there.
Yeah, well,
you wouldn't have thought that. You would not have thought that. I forgot my phone charger going on holiday just then. I would have definitely forgotten it if I was running to the hospital packing a pregnancy bag. So make sure you have the phone charger.
I'm definitely going to pack these things in advance, so then we don't have to worry about it. Oh, goodness. It's one of those things you kind of don't really think about too much, or all these things.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I appreciate it. You've kind of saved me.
No worries, bro. Well, that's what we aim to do.
I definitely thought you were going to ask me all these questions about like APGAR scores or changing nappies.
It was getting pretty hectic. Yeah. When it started talking about why the baby's poo's different colours, I went, okay, these are not the brochures for me. Yeah, I'll stick to the other stuff. But mate, thank you so much for coming and doing the episode. It's always so much fun when we hang out and go train in the off season. And like I said, you really genuinely inspire me to work hard and just get the best out of myself with everything that you got going on, and everything from your professional life to your personal life. You're a genuine role model for me. So thank you very much for being that. But good luck with everything for the next few months. Good luck with baby K. And yeah, we'll get you on again soon.
That sounds good, mate. I appreciate having us, and we'll keep in these weight rooms and hopefully be nice and ready for this camp coming up.
Clanging and banging. Yes, sir. Love it. And that's another episode of Fat Chat all wrapped up. Thank you so much, Nick, for coming down and doing that episode. Always good to catch up and hear all these great stories. So as always, remember to follow, subscribe, like the Fat Chat podcast on any of the streaming platforms you've been listening or streaming it on. Really goes a long way to building the pod. And just remember, if you want to be in the draw to win the signed jersey by Nick K, Wildcat signed jersey, massive prize. All you have to do is remember the code word that was in the episode somewhere right in the middle there. Make sure you go check that out, and you'll gain an entry by tagging friends in the socials clips that I'm putting up on Wednesday, either on TikTok or Instagram. So the more people you tag, the more entries that you get, and we'll be drawing the winner live on a Fat Chat podcast. So make sure you know the code word, get tagging your mates, and you can win an awesome prize. But thank you so much for everyone for tuning on in. As always, love your work, and I'll see you next week.